Trevor Tim of The Guardian penned an article that shows how Hillary Clinton is a hypocrite on the issue of money in politics, and it also serves as a harsh reality check for Hillary Clinton supporters. Now, effectively, what the Democratic Party and many Hillary Clinton supporters have done is they've done a 180 when it comes to money in politics. They critique Mitt Romney and the Republicans for taking large sums of money from special interests, and they say that it influences them, but now all of a sudden, it's okay if Hillary Clinton does that, and it doesn't influence her. Well, Tim broke it down in a phenomenal way. So he explains that Democrats have a decision to make. Do they think money in politics is a corrupting force that influences the decisions made by elected officials or not? After years of railing against the Citizens United decision, which opened the floodgates to outside spending in elections, some of them appear to have done a complete reversal. The Clinton campaign has spent the last few weeks furiously pushing back at the criticism that she is influenced by the vast donations her campaign receives from backers in the oil and financial industries. Now, the irony, he points out, is that Clinton harshly criticized then-Senator Obama for accepting donations from oil and gas executives, and even cut a campaign commercial about it. The kicker? It was less money than Clinton has accepted from people working for fossil fuel companies so far this campaign season. While Clinton called the suggestion that she might be influenced by the wealthy bankers who raised money for her campaign an artful smear in 2016, she also had no problem hurling even stronger accusations about Obama in 2008, saying Senator Obama has some questions to answer about his dealings with one of the largest contributors, Exelon, a big nuclear power company. She said, apparently, he cut some deals behind closed doors to protect them from full disclosure of the nuclear industry. Now, this clearly demonstrates that Hillary Clinton is a hypocrite, because we all know that she takes money from Goldman Sachs. They pay her $225,000 to give one speech, and she did 3 of those. So the problem with that is that she won't even release the transcript. So what are you telling them behind closed doors, Hillary? I mean, you raised the question about Barack Obama and what he did behind closed doors with special interests, so why are you any different? Hypocrisy. Now, Tim's contention is that she claims that those speeches and the money she takes doesn't influence her. He explains if that's the principled stance you want to take, it's not one her party has had in the past. Mitt Romney was hit hard in the 2012 presidential campaign by Democrats for speeches he gave to financial institutions. So which is it? Are politicians corrupt or susceptible to corruption if they are giving highly paid speeches behind closed doors to financial institutions or not? It doesn't work both ways. Now, another area of hypocrisy for Hillary Clinton is that she constantly condemns the Citizens United decision, and the ruling was, in fact, about her. But since then, she is now one of the biggest beneficiaries of that decision. We all know Hillary Clinton has multiple super PACs. Well, the number is that she actually has 7 known super PACs, so she could have more pro-Hillary super PACs out there, we just don't know about them. So she has 7 known super PACs. So Hillary Clinton, she doesn't really feel the way she says she does about Citizens United. In actuality, it's benefited her a lot, more than many other politicians. Arguably, she's benefited the most from it. Now, Hillary Clinton supporters will contend that it doesn't matter because this isn't a quid pro quo. When these special interests give Hillary Clinton money, they're not literally asking for anything in exchange. So it's not direct corruption. But in actuality, it is still corruption. It's just a lesser degree of corruption, but corruption is corruption. And the thing is that nobody's ever said that these are quid pro quo. Nobody said that. Nobody's claimed that. We've suggested it, but we've never directly said it. The problem is that these contributions set up a direct conflict of interest. These politicians are claiming to regulate the people who are helping to get them into office. That's a problem. There's a reason why the financial services industry has been able to get away with murder. There's a reason why the NRA is able to stifle any type of gun legislation we're getting through. These special interests bankroll the campaigns of politicians, and they get through. And 9 times out of 10, if you have more money, you win, especially when it comes to senatorial races. So it's really problematic that they're taking all this money from special interests. Like any human being, of course you're going to be influenced by the people who literally make your career possible. So it's actually egregious to contend that Hillary Clinton is not influenced by these donations. Now, my favorite part about the article is how Tim brings up Barney Frank. Now, Barney Frank, as you'll remember, I cover this, he suggested that Bernie Sanders is guilty of McCarthyism for even suggesting that Hillary Clinton is influenced by the campaign contributions that she's received. But what Tim demonstrates is how the 2016 Barney Frank is actually contradicted by the 2012 Barney Frank, because he said something different. So by his own standards, Barney Frank is incorrect. So he states, people say, oh, it doesn't have any effect on me. Well, if that were the case, we'd be the only human beings in the history of the world who on a regular basis took significant amounts of money from perfect strangers and made sure that it had no effect on our behavior. And Tim states, I guess we can assume Clinton is the first person in the history of the world to avoid this problem altogether then. You can't argue with this. He's literally taking their own quotes and using it against them because they're changing their positions, because Democrats were unequivocally against money in politics until one of their candidates is taking a lot of money. So which side are you on? Do you think that money in politics is a problem or not? You have to pick a side. You can't waver on your position depending on which candidate is up. Either you support the idea or you don't. It shouldn't vary depending on the candidate. So, of course, it's the case that Hillary Clinton is influenced by these campaign contributions. She's a human being. I know she seems like a robot most of the time, but she's a human being just like you and me. And that money influences her decisions. We have an unlimited number of examples. How she gave weapons deals to the Saudis after they donated to the Clinton Foundation. There's so many examples. I can go on all day. So, yes. Unfortunately, I hate to break the news to all of Hillary Clinton's supporters, but Hillary Clinton is a human being, and like all human beings, she is influenced by the money she receives. I agree with you when you say that it's not acceptable for Republicans to accept large sums of money from special interests, but you have to be consistent. When Democrats do it, you have to call them out, and you have to not support them. You can't reverse your position because a candidate is up that you like. That's completely unreasonable. Either you have a position or you don't. And Hillary Clinton, like her supporters, did a 180. And the problem is that the entire Democratic Party has done a 180. And this is problematic. This is completely problematic. I am not willing to change my position on money in politics because of Hillary Clinton. Now, the whole thing that's absurd to me is that this should be common sense to Democratic voters. Democratic voters are more liberal and more intelligent. So this shouldn't be something that I have to explain to fellow liberals. It should just be common sense. But the problem that it's not shows that not only the Democratic Party is in a really bad state, but the country is in a bad state if the Liberal Party and their supporters are not willing to call out campaign contributions and the conflict of interest that it poses.